All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome once again to the Enhanced Sports Show. My name is Louis Tenora, and welcome to your Saturday tradition, as it's been now for the past 7.5 years. We got a lot to talk about today. It's coming down to the the college basketball season. Preseason MLB is here, so we got a lot to do. The number is 512-543-4662. Again, 512-543-4662. Don't forget about our other shows. Brasal McGee coming up at 6 o'clock, and Kevin Dixon with his show on Monday nights at 7 o'clock. Well, mostly, but sometimes it changes here and there, but generally 7 to 9. All right. Well, being it's the top of the month, we we start. Oh, and don't forget check us out on. Don't forget to like and share our page as well, and don't forget to check us out on YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in the Enhanced Sports Show, and you're there. Of course, we have our calendar events, and it's a big one in March as we got spring training now in session. Just started actually last week. Regular season opener begins on March 27th, the day after my birthday. Oh boy, that's interesting. Uh, College basketball, the selection Sunday will be 2 weeks from tomorrow. That'll determine the 68 teams that'll get in. And of course, they have the not important tournament. I mean the NIT, sorry. And a new college basketball tournament is going to be this year called the College Basketball Crown. I think that replaces one of the other minor tournaments, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And of course, the NHL trade deadline will be due on Friday. So next week we're going to cover that as much as possible. Yeah, we'll see about that. And oh yeah, the UFL begins on March 29th, or as I like to call it, the other football league. Not to sound like it's insulting, but it's no comparison to the NFL, of course. All right, so I'll bring in my crew here. All right, D. Davidson, are you there? Dana, Dana, better, better. Mikey, my better half, and my better half. Right. Okay. Well, first I'll start with all right. First, I'll start with the NHL standings right here, and we'll start from the Atlantic Division on the way down. All right. So, starting with the Atlantic, the Maple Leafs are 37-20-2 at 76 points. Right behind them were the Panthers at 36-21-3 at 75 points. Not far behind them were the Lightning at 74 points at 35-20-4. Uh, Red Wings are 30-23-6 at 66 points. Not bad. The Senators are 62 points at 29-25-4. The Bruins are 27-25-8, 62 points. But I'm happy to say, for those of you Bruins fans, they are winning this game right now. Oh, well. Montreal is 28-26-5, 61 points. And the Sabres in the basement, as usual, 24-28-5, 53 points. Hey, Hashtag, maybe you should come out of retirement. All right, maybe not. All right. Over to the Metropolitan Division. Okay. Stephen, Dana, I know you're gonna be happy about this, of course. Capitals, they're on fire. 38, 14, and 8, 84 points. And good news, Ovechkin did score another goal today. Now he is down to 10 goals to beating I'm on Opie Watch, guys. I'm on Opie Watch, and I will be until the moment it happens. I think he's gonna do it even before the month of March is out. He's on that kind of a pace. I think he'll do it. Yeah. I mean, I'll say this. I thought with him being injured and was out for like what was it, 20 games, Steve? He was out that long. I didn't think he was gonna be able to make it this year. And of course, when they had that Nations 4 tournament, which was another interruption the season, I was really thinking he was gonna do it, early next season. But it looks like now he is in striking distance and just might make it before the month of April even gets here. So I'm keeping my eye on this, and I will keep an eye on this until that moment arrives. He's on fire like a Bruce Springsteen song. Ooh, I'm on fire. Oh boy. Okay, moving on. Hurricanes are at 72 points at 34, 21, and 4. The Devils are in third in the division at 32, 22, and 6, 70 points. The Blue Jackets are at 66 points at 29, 22, and 8, 60 points. Don't count the Ringers out yet, guys. I think they have a chance to sneak in here. I mean, they're not that far off. They're at 29, 26, and 4 at 62 points. They're within striking distance of making the wild card, so I wouldn't rule them out yet. I know some of you would like to, but forget it. All right. Yeah, but I know a Ranger hater when I see one. Okay. Also a rabbit. Also a rabbit hated. No, 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 never mind, never mind. Uh, I'll explain that later. Okay. Islanders 27, 20. Yeah, Islanders 27, 25, and 7, 61 points. Yeah, they can still make it. Flyers 26, 26, and 8, 60 points. And the Penguins 24, 29, 57 points. I mean, it's really tight, really, when you think about for the wild card in the Metropolitan Division. I think I can see maybe the Blue Jackets, Rangers, and Islanders all within distance of making that because there isn't much of a gap between for the wild cards. So, well, I wish I well, we still got 6 weeks to go, Diane. So there's plenty of time to move things around. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, I know. In this part of New Jersey, who is? Not very many. Yeah, so it looks like right. So it looks like a pretty good distance here. Right. Yes. But it looks like it looks like a pretty good race, in the Metropolitan Division. I do think that the Capitals um are gonna take the division. I mean, they're having a phenomenal year. I mean, if they win the cup, this I think would be considered the perfect year. Win the President's Trophy, which I think they will. Ovi breaks the record and win the Stanley Cup all in the same year. That would be a perfect season. But as we all know, that most of the time, 8 times out of 10, or maybe 8.5, depending you look at, that the winners of the President's Trophy choke in the playoffs. As you all know, it happens time and time again, folks. Exactly. hmm So, is it a blessing or is it a curse? If you want to answer that, go ahead. No response. Well, yeah. Well, we still, like I said, we still got 6 weeks to go, Steve. So anything can change. Yeah. Oh, the West over here. Yeah. Okay, moving to the West. The Jets. Yeah, they're the only other team I think can stop the Capitals from getting the President's Cup. They're at 87 points right now, 42, 15, and 3. Too bad they don't draw much of a crowd. The Stars, 38, 19, and 2, 78 points. The Wild at 34, 24, and 22 and 4, 72 points. Avalanche are also at 72 points at 35, 24, and 2. Utah, whatever their name is, 27, 24, and 9, 63 points. Blues, 28, 26, and 6, 62 points. The Yahoos, or you say the Predators, are 21, 31, and 7, 49 points. And the lowly Blackhawks, 17, 35, and 7, 41 points. Ugh, that team is a miracle. Ugh. To the Pacific. Oh wait, did I miss a division? I think I did. Nope, I got it. Okay, the Pacific. Golden Knights, 76 points, 35, 18, and 6. Oilers, 34, 21, and 4, 72 points. Thank you, Connor McDavid. Kings, 31, 18, 8, 70 points. Canucks, 27, 21, and 11, 65 points. Wait, was anybody what a Canuck is? Flames, 28, 22, and 8, 64 points. The Ducks, 26, 25, and 7, 59 points. Kraken, 25, 31, 4, 54 points. And the Sharks, 15, 36, and 9, 39 points. They don't have a ghost of a chance. Oh boy, thank you. Yuck. But let me ask you guys. All right, now the Nations 4 tournament ended a little bit over a week ago, and it was a great tournament. And I think it was a great idea. But now there comes a problem because a lot of players are, I think, suffering some kind of injury from this, and it's, I think, really affecting some of the teams. With their style of play. I mean, I like good tournaments. That are competitive and everything. It shows as pride for the country and whatnot. But look at this, because the tournament has taken its toll on some of its players, and they're feeling the effects as the regular season, is down full swing again. I mean, Bruins defenseman Troy McCoy and Panthers star Matthew Tkachuk, they're battling injuries right now. He injured McAvoy injured his shoulder in the opening game against Finland, and an infection developed in the affected area. McAvoy missed 2 games of the tournament and was sidelined for the Bruins' first game. So that's strike one right there. Tkachuk tried to play through the injury, but sat on the bench throughout much of the first game against Canada, not the championship game, but the first game. Now the Panthers' regular season has resumed. Tkachuk already missed a game, and head coach Paul Maurice did not offer a timeline for his return, so that could be a problem right now. Another Team USA member, Knights division Shea Theodore, is week to week with a wrist injury as the Knights make a push toward the postseason. So while this was a great idea, it's really taking its toll on some of the players, and that could affect coming down the stretch of how you're going to measure up in the standings, heading towards the playoffs. And there is possibility that this might be just too much for them, and with scheduling conditions, well, they just might just do away with this tournament, which would be a shame. But considering health wise and scheduling wise, it might not occur after this. I would hate to think it was a one time thing because it was I think it's better than the All Star games and whatnot. This showed dedication, heart. You're playing for your country, and but Commissioner Bedman, I don't think thinks it's a good idea. Yeah. So what do you make of this? How is it going to look for your teams down the stretch? All right, Steve, I'm going to start that with you. Well, I meant about how the recent tournament is affecting the teams and players. Really, Dana, your thoughts? Mm, yeah, let us see about that. Mike, your thoughts? Mm. All right, how about you, Diane? Well, because if you're fighting for a playoff spot and your best players are out, that could really hurt them, down the stretch. So we really you really got to be careful then because if your best player is out, with any kind of injury, and with about 20 games to go before the playoffs start, you could be going from first in your division to like fourth or fifth, and you lose the home field, you lose the home ice advantage, and you're going to fight. You have to fight for it on the road. So it's important that these players stay healthy after playing in such tournaments such as these. And now apply, of course, next year when they play in the Olympics for the first time in 8 years, 12 years. So it is something. So it, I think it does play a factor. Yeah, well, Mike follows hockey as much as I do very closely, and I think we'd agree that although it was good for the game, but as you're heading towards the playoffs and trying to get back into a rhythm, I think it could do some damage. Maybe not major, but it could affect the teams very well. And right now, the Bruins are. Yeah, but he's having a good day. Pasternak has a pair of goals. Hmm. I don't know if my friend from Boston is watching. Oh boy. So while it was a good idea, I think I think they have to exercise a caution on this on future tournaments. Right, Alex? Well, as I mentioned, the nation's four tournament was just ended about a week ago, and some of the players, yeah, some of the players though I think are suffering from injuries. As they try to get back into the swing of things with their own teams. Uh, so this could affect them in a negative way. If your star player is out and you're trying to vie for a playoff spot, that could be a problem, can it? Yeah, you'll wear and tear. Shouldn't. Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it was a good idea though. I mean, like I said, to play for that, but also remember there are consequences. Yeah, yeah, it's it does. So you really, yeah, floundering is right. Yeah, that you got to you know think about. Right. Okay, so let's see if we got any other hockey news coming here. I believe we do. Okay, just let me clip this off. All right, so down further we go. Of course, there's a lot of basketball news too, but and there'll be a lot of basketball news as well. Time of year you gotta really step up your game and watch out for the injury bug. Yeah, but overall, I did think it was okay. Oh, yeah, right. I know. Yes, Richard Gere. Yes, right. Yes, No. No, he did not. All right. So, yeah, of course. All right. Just a second. Wait just a second here. Oh, all right, just let me line up here. Okay. So anyway, I got some more hockey news here, starting with Bruins forward Trent Frederick is week to week with a lower body injury, according to multiple reports. He sustained the injury in Tuesday's loss to the Maple Leafs. The timing is significant because Frederick could be shopped elsewhere ahead of the trade deadline, which is on Friday. He is a pending free agent with 8 goals and 7 assists in 57 games. So he's on the trading block and to see where he goes. And next week we'll have a full round of who's going where. And okay, here's with the NHL following the NBA and NFL leads Commissioner Gary Bettman will announce the first and second draft picks at this year's NHL draft in Los Angeles. That'll be held on June 27th and June 20th. I can imagine just how many boos we're going to hear when he announces the names through every round. I'm thinking about maybe at least two per pick. Oh boy. Yeah. So previously serving as the ringmaster of all this, Bettman will take over once held by each team. This is the first NHL draft participating from their home cities rather than in person. Top prospects will attend the draft in person and will meet with Bettman himself in person. Oh boy, that's gonna be fun. Even now, keep in mind clubs have asked for this. So Bettman told reporters last week between the Kings and Utah, I was not looking for any exposure. I have more than enough. Yeah, sure you do. But this is what the clubs want, and we'll see where it goes this year. Following the you know what, the draft was an in-person event in Vegas the last 3 years. As for who might end up as number one overall pick, Matthew Schaefer of Erie of the Ontario Hockey League is among the front runners, along with right winger Porter Martone of the Brampton, which is also the OHL, and centers James Haggins of good old BC and Michael Missa of Saginaw, which is in Michigan, of the OHL. Looks like some pretty good draft picks here. I mean, I don't really get a chance to follow college hockey that much, but I've heard these names being mentioned. And of course, BC has a very strong hockey program. I'm just wondering what the reaction is going to be for Bedman because, you know, like a few other commissioners, as we all know, like Adam Silver, and of course, the NFL commissioner, who is probably the most hated commissioner in all of sports. Bedman said he doesn't need any exposure, but I think he's going to be under a lot of pressure when he makes the announcements. Ugh, it's going to be. I can just imagine how the crowd is going to react when this happens in June. Of course, he's always going to be there for the crowning of the Stanley Cup, which he's been there for the past 30 some odd years since he's been commissioner. So I'll be interested to see what the reaction is going to be. You know, when this happens. Oof. Yeah. But remember, Bedman, you're asking for it. Ooh. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, guys. I know I've asked this before, but let me ask you: of the three commissioners I had mentioned, Goodell, Bedman, and Silver, who do you think is the worst? Right? Anyone else? Commissioners. Commissioners. Yeah. The okay. That's two for Goodell. Dana, who would you say? Yeah. The big cheese. Okay. I think Goodell because football was the most popular, so I get it. But I was thinking of other commissioners. I think Bettman was the worst. I mean, after all, you know, you had two lockouts, a canceled season, and the NHL at that point was almost as dead as a doornail. And okay, so it has made strides in recent years, but you can't erase the damage that was done, in the last 20 years or so, or 30 years rather. So I would think he is the most hated commissioner in all sports, or in the words of Debbie Duck, he is the most despicable commissioner in all sports. Thank you very much. I had to do it. That was for a friend of mine. That was for a friend of mine. Yeah, I know. I just had, well, baseball's a problem too, but we'll worry about that later. Yeah, we'll get to that later though. Oh yeah, right. Yes. Sometimes he is no David Stern. I'll put it the other way around. He is no David Stern. Yeah. Okay. Neither do I. And they're making rule changes constantly too. Well, we don't have to like him. Right. Right. By the way, oh wait, I have a fourth one. I have a fourth one. Rob Manfred for MLB. My thoughts exactly. I mean, are they gonna survive the 2026 after the collective arguing disagreement, or are we gonna see a messy 2027? That's what they're thinking. As I said, as I said, collective arguing disagreement instead of hold it, guys, wait. As I said, collective arguing instead of collective bargaining, because before you agree on it, you're gonna argue for 6 months and nothing gets resolved. Yeah. So think about it. That's why he could be. And if they do go on strike in 2026, the end of 2026, I should say, it's gonna be ugly. Don't say I didn't warn you, folks. Okay? Be prepared. 2027 could be a nasty season. Yeah. Don't yeah. Don't forget about television rights too, which well, we'll get to that in a little bit, but boy, we got news for you. All right, so Bruins defenseman Hampus Lindholm is probably out for the season as he works his way back from knee surgery. Thank you. According to general manager Don Sweeney. This doesn't look good for the Bruins, folks. Sweeney said that Lindholm will have another surgery related to the patella tendon injury that he sustained as he blocked a shot from Blues defenseman Justin Falk in a November 12th game. Oh boy. Lindholm only has 3 goals and 4 assists in the 17 games he played this season. He was an all star in the 2022-23 season. Lindholm has 73 goals with 240 assists overall in 762 games with the Bruins and Ducks. And the Ducks selected him as a sixth overall pick in 2012. So, and right now, but the good news is, like I said, Boston up 2-0 as Pittsburgh is trying to vie for a playoff spot. Right now, doesn't seem like it. So while the Bruins are different dealing with injury, at least they are making strides somewhat. I got some good news for you Devils fans out there. Mikey, you might want to listen to this one. Defenseman Dougie Hamilton, well known for being an offensive type like player, offensive defenseman, is now heading to last Sunday as the Predators, as the Blue had 8 goals and 30 assists. He now has a new milestone as he reached 500th career points. in 830 games. Hampton is the Hampton is the 75th defenseman overall to reach 500 points. That according to the NHL record books page. I knew it was up there, but I didn't think it was going to be 500. So congratulations on that, Dougie Hamilton, and well deserved. He's a strong. He's had a strong career, and it'll be interesting to see what other milestones that he will hit next. And I put a little side note that I always like to put out milestone moments, especially if it represents teams that I follow very closely, and I do follow those very closely, as well as Mike does, and Diane does as well. So that's why I put it in there. I think it was a well deserved moment. Gotta give it. I mean, because Hamilton's really making this team hang in there, even though last season was a dud. But they're in third place in the division, and they have a good chance of making the fifth seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs as it stands right now. They won't get home advantage in the first round, but at least they'll still make a reasonable effort, and that deserves mention there. They have some tough opponents coming down the stretch. They're on a West Coast road trip right now, which won't end until Tuesday, and that they're struggling a bit. But I think once they get back to the East Coast and back at home, I think they're gonna handle it much better because they always play better at home than they do on the road. Any thoughts from the Jersey crew? All right, Alex. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Any thoughts, Diane? Alex, you're close enough. So unless he left. Yeah, exactly. Like the Blackhawks. Yeah. If the Blackhawks are Sharks, forget it. No offense, but yes, right. That's what we need. You need competitiveness in hockey. That's a given. Because if it's not competitive, it's just not worth it. Yeah, yeah. Well, McDavid I think, is the next face of the NBA, the NHL. I think so. I think we can count that. Yeah, that goes to Canada. No, hockey is more Canadian, so but that's like their NFL, more or less. Yeah, so would I. All right. One more hockey note. Yeah. Yes. Okay. One more hockey note. I think. Detroit Red Wings have placed center Andrew Coop or Cop, as the case may be, on injury reserve as of Monday with an undisclosed injury, and no timeline has been given for his return. Okay, that's not a good sign because when you don't know the timeline, it could be more serious than we think it is most of the time. Coop was injured in the second period of last Saturday's loss to the Wild. He missed Sunday's overtime loss to the Ducks, and did not travel to Minnesota to face the Wild. In other related news, the Red Wings called center Sheldon Dries from Grand Rapids, Michigan of the AHL. That's their AHL affiliate. We will know more details later, but it will take longer than expected, said by head coach Tom McLellan Monday after practice. In the 56 games he's played this season, Coop has 10 goals and 13 assists with 35 block shots and 8 penalty minutes. He was selected by the Jets in the fourth round in 2013 with 114 goals and 186 assists and 149 penalty minutes, but has 371 blocks in 700 regular season games for the Jets, Rangers, and Red Wings. And the Jets are, of course, the hottest team in the NHL right now. And the last time he last played in the NHL for the Canucks in the 2022-23 season, and has 16 goals and 10 assists for 122 games with the Avalanche and Canucks. So tough break for Detroit as they're trying to make a playoff run. I wouldn't say they're out of it. I don't think this is going to put the nail in the coffin, but it does bring the Red Wings a step back. So I'll keep my eye on that as well. Detroit was once, a proud team, in the as we went to the mid to late '90s and the early 2000s, but they have now suffered, a droughtless playoff streak. They're not the same team as they were, and this might put them a step back. But with 6 weeks, with 7 weeks to go, anything can happen. They can climb out of the spot they're in and make it decent, or they can fall flat. So we'll just have to wait and see. All right. So shall we go to the NBA? All right. Okay. Yes. All right. In the Atlantic Division, the dreaded Celtics are 42 and 18. Two and a half back are the Knicks at 39 and 20. But I have a question about that. But let me go through the list first before we answer that. Okay. All right. The Nets, sorry, 21 and 18. Oh boy. And that's 21 and 18, 38 rather. 21, that's 20 and a half back. Sixers, 20 and 38 at that point, and they are 21 back. And the Raptors, a once proud franchise not long ago, are 18, 42, 24 back. Wow. Oh, look at this. Already a playoff spot. The Cavaliers, 49 and 10. What a shock. Further down the list are the Bucks at 33 and 25, 15 and a half back, along with the Pacers. The Pistons, the most improved team of the year, 33 and 27, 16 and a half back. But hey, even if they don't make the playoffs, which I think they will at this point, you got to give them credit for the season they've had this year compared to last year. I mean, last year was a disaster. Pistons. Yeah, it is. Right. Exactly. Any of the big teams, Alex, when any of the big teams in the big city areas win or in the playoffs, that's when it's good. You don't like mediocre. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. The bad boys are back. Yeah. Yeah. I am too. And especially for my colleagues in Detroit. I have that too. And the Bulls, 24 and 36, 25 and a half back. Oh boy. Oh yeah, yeah. Yes. Right. Yeah. All right. In this tragic comedy division of the Southeast, nobody, and I repeat, nobody is above 500. What a shame. Miami is the best at 28 and 30. Oh boy. The Magic are 20 and 32, a half game back. Oh boy. The Hawks are 27 and 33, two and a half back. Hornets are 14 and 44, 14 back, and the Wizards 10 and 48, 18 back. Sorry, Steve. I wish I had better news for you. Oh, what a comic tragedy this division is. It is sad and pathetic. It really is. Oof. Over to the West. Lakers are 37 in the Pacific. Lakers are 37 and 21. The Clippers are 5.5 back at 32 and 27. Also, the Warriors are 32 and 27. Kings not bad, 30 and 28, 7.5 back, 7 back. The Suns 20 and 32, 10 back. Not bad, but not great. And St. John's has won this game. They have clinched the regular season Big East title. Congratulations, Red Storm. All right. Um, over to the Southwest. The Grizzlies are 30 and 21. Houston doesn't have a problem here. They're 37-22, only a game back. The Mavericks are 32 and 28, 6.5 back. Spurs 24 and 33, 13 back. Of course, Victor Wembanyama is out for the season, so that only adds the problems. And the Pelicans 16 and 44, 27.5 back. Yuck. And finally, in the Northwest, the Thunder 48 and 11. They have a 9.5 game lead over the Nuggets at 39-21. Wolves 32 and 29, 17 back. Blazers 27-33, 21.5 back. And the Jazz 15 and 44, 33 back. All right, so I asked about the Knicks. All right, they have a good record. They are within striking distance of those Celtics. Yuck. But the thing that worries me is that, I don't think they play as well as they should. I mean, for this question, are they contenders or are they pretenders? Because despite the good record, I mean, they haven't really been any of the top quality teams in the division. I mean, they've lost to the Celtics, they've lost to Cleveland, and a few other ones. So the record I think they have is a bit misleading. Not to sound insulting, but they're not. I mean, they're beating the teams below them, but that's not going to help you in the standings. And to make a run, towards going up, like say in the second or third season in the Eastern Conference. So while they have a good record, they gotta start being more of the better teams. They gotta go after the Celtics. They have to go after, of course, the Cavaliers, um, and the Pacers as well, because the Pacers are known for beating us. And the Bucks worried me a little bit too. And just yeah, well, yeah, especially by Boston. Boston has punished us this year, Steve. Yeah, yeah, uh-huh. Mhm. Yes, they do. Or what are you? No. Yeah. So, because like I said it's misleading. No. Yes. No, they don't. Yeah, they do. Definitely need more defense. Yeah. You're not gonna beat them at all. No. Hello, Roger. Yeah. So what do you think with the next this year? I mean, are they contenders or are they pretenders? Yes. So, like I said, this is concerning. If they don't beat these teams, I think it's going to be another early exit in the playoffs. They won't get past the second round again. So they've really got to step up and beat the better teams, because just being the lower teams isn't going to get you very far, no matter what your record says. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Right. No. Okay. All right. Before I go on to anything else, Steve, got anything in your UFC WWE report? All right. Mhm. Yeah. Right. I have Prime. Right. Okay. Yeah, your trivia. Diane, your trivia. Okay, I'll move on. She's not responding. Yeah, I heard of that. You mean about they might get a pardon for his gambling and being ousted from the Hall of Fame? Look, we've heard this before. The committee is dead set against him. It's not going to happen. The committee has said the only way is, well, maybe now that he's passed away, they might do that. But other than that, it's really the committee now. You better not. Stephen all time. No, you can't. All right, I gotta move on. All right, I gotta move on. Exactly. All right, so moving along. Cam Thomas is yes, yes. Move on. No, he doesn't belong there. So forget it. All right, so moving on. Cam Thomas is set to return to the Nets for the first time in a month, even though their season is blown to pieces. Um, Thomas is sidelined for a month because of a hamstring injury and was removed from Thursday's injury report, putting him on track for last night's game against the Blazers. Unfortunately, they lost. Thomas was having an all-star season despite the Nets, yeah, whatever you want to call it. Has 24.7 points, 3.4 assists, and 3.2 rebounds, with a 46% shooting from the field and a decent 38.9% from three-point range before sustaining a hamstring injury in November. He may have free return for 2 games around the new year, but was silent again with the same injury. Deja vu all over again. The Nets. Well, forget they're 11th place. I have only a half game back for the final play-in spot for the Bulls, but with a record like that, uh, they're not going to be deserving to make it. So it's best they don't. If- It just shows the Western Conference is far more superior than the East, as they have more teams above 500 than we do. Sorry to say, you know. But as they say in basketball, that's the way the basketball bounces. Sorry, I had to say it. All right, Anthony Edwards is in big trouble. The Minnesota Star officially served a one-game automatic suspension after collecting two technical fouls in Thursday's loss to the Lakers, giving him 16 on the season. Edwards sat out last game against the Jazz. Edwards was hoping that a 60 technical would have been reversed at review from the league office, but the league office said, forget it. Whatever they're doing to a man, that's Edwards said, as of the crypto arena on Thursday, briefly after the final buzzer. I don't even know. They should have reversed the last technical foul. Edwards was ejected in the third quarter after receiving a second technical of the game. As Edwards left the arena, he tossed the ball into the crowd, causing a delay of game, which makes him idiot of the week number one. Because you had to be an idiot to do something like that. I get he was upset, but you don't throw that in the crowd, during a game. Come on. I know you're upset about the call, and maybe you got a point thing. It should have been reversed the second technical of the game, but you don't show your anger like that to the fans out there. I mean, they look up to you when there's the players, and you do something stupid like that. No, not acceptable. Sorry. All right. The Magic's run of the postseason might not include Jalen Suggs, even though they might not make it anyway, as he was with his left injury. The announcement came on Friday. Suggs has worked his way back from a back injury, but injured his left thigh in January 25th against the Pistons. Working his through working basketball activities in anticipation of a return. Suggs left with discomfort in his knee, leading to a further evaluation and imaging on his knee. That according to the Magic themselves. The injury is described as a groove where the kneecap is below the femur. Ugh. An injury to the trotella can cause pain, instability, and other issues in the knee, according to Dr. Robert Lap. Among treatment options are rest, physical therapy, anti-inflammation medications, and arthroscopic surgery, all which the Magic will consider as Suggs makes the return and it will make a full recovery. Well, that's the good news at least. But the bad news is I don't know if he's going to make it back for the rest of the season. What a shame. All right, so Suggs have been limited to 35 games this season with a decent scoring average of 16.2 points per game, uh, 3.7 assists and 1.7 steals, shooting 31% from 3-point range. In 4 seasons, he has averaged 12.3 points and 3.3 assists, shooting 33% on 3-point shots. He was selected fifth overall by Gonzaga in 2021. Oh, Gonzaga! That team was something. Hey, remember that final shot from Gonzaga? I know I do. The Magic aren't doing too bad right now. They're 29-22 at the seventh spot in the East, but have lost 3 of the last 4 and 5 of the last 10. So it maybe, yeah, yeah, right. Yes. Speaking of injuries, yeah, yeah. Or as we say, yeah, the Southeast is a joke, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, I gotta move on. Yeah, this is the fastest show in sports, guys. So we gotta keep it moving. It is the fastest show in sports. All right. Well, if you're a Sixers fan, I got some bad news for you. Joel Embiid, he's out the rest of the season with his ailing left knee issue. The announcement was made earlier today. The Sixers and Embiid combined, Sixers and Embiid consulting with top specialists about his knee. The statement in regards to the issues with his left knee. The statement read, after a further evaluation, we have determined that Embiid is not medically able to continue to play this season and is out. He will continue to focus on treatment and rehab. We are working with medical experts. Hold on. We are working with medical experts to determine the exact treatment plan and will update when we have more information available. The Sixers and specialists will continue working with Embiid to ensure the best path forward for his long-term health and performance. And this, I think, is going to put really the dagger in the Sixers season. Last year, they made the playoffs. They lost in the first round. The Embiid was struggling a bit, but Embiid this year is not even close to where he was last year, and has really, put the Sixers in a deep hole that they're not going to get out of this year. So it is probably best for Embiid to set the season because the Sixers at this point are going nowhere, and I think within the next week they'll be officially mathematically eliminated from postseason contention because this team is drowning, drowning. Yeah, exactly. One of the biggest disappointments. I think the Wizards are. I think the Wizards are the biggest disappointment. No offense, Steve, but yeah, right. Yeah, rebuilding is right. Yeah. Hmm. Okay, moving on. All right, moving on. And Austin Reeves was ruled out last night's game against the Clippers with calf soreness, and he's gonna go. He underwent an MRI in his calf earlier today. Reeves had 6 points and a pair of 3 pointers. The Lakers are already without Rai Hachimura with a left knee strain. Reeves is averaging 19.2 points per game and 6.1 rebounds in 51 games this season. But they're not doing that badly. They're going to make the playoffs, but they're going to need Austin to heal his injury. They're going to have a shot to make, anything more significant. Have to look at it that way. Yeah, at least I would think so because he is a powerful player. And speaking of the cut-ups, the Clippers, Jordan Miller has agreed to a 4-year, $8.2 million deal, meaning they waived for Marjan Buchamp to create roster space. Miller and the Clippers was the Clippers' second round pick in 2023. Was in the G League team with San Diego, which was once the former home of the Clippers. He now earns a standard deal that includes a $1 million bonus for the last 6 weeks of the season. And he is definitely a better improvement because he has done better. In 30 games, Miller has 4.7 points per game compared to Champ was only scoring 2.2 points per game in 29 games. So this was a better move right then and there. And the Clippers are also in contention for a playoff spot, unfortunately. So you got to look at it that way. Sometimes you trade for the worst, but sometimes you trade for the better. Am I right, guys? Mm-hmm. Diane, is that you? You forgot your trivia. Yeah, yeah. Where were you? Okay, that's fine. I just read. Yeah. Yeah. Tommy Gunn. Oh. I don't know. Because it wasn't a true story. That's what I thought too. That was a good guess though, guys. Because that's I thought it was based on that too, but obviously not. Yeah. Well, don't forget there was also a different time frame too, guys, because Rocky took place in the 70s as well as the movie. Marciano was in the 40s and 50s, so no, no. So we can't. That was a good try though. Okay, anything else, Die? Okay. Yeah, I think it was the Motor City. Motor City. Yeah, Hitman Hearns. Hitman Hearns. Okay, one of the great boxers of my generation. All right. Well, for Spurs fans, the season hasn't been bad enough. Greg Popovich, uh, he's done for the year. He's done. The 76-year-old was not expected to return this season while he continues to recover from as he continues recovery. The head coach reportedly addressed the situation to the Spurs this past week. According to NBA insider reporter Chris Hayes, Popovich spoke to his team on Thursday for the first time since he suffered the stroke and confirmed his players that he is not returning. I can't say I blame him. I mean, it is a stroke, and that could be pretty serious. So I'm not surprised by this at all. Popovich won the league. Yeah, yeah. Yes. Yes, of course. So Popovich is one of the league's winningest coaches. Now his 29th season as Spurs head coach. In the absence of Popovich, Mitch Johnson has taken over as interim coach. He is expected to continue to coach the team for the rest of the year, having him impress his role as the interim head coach. Unfortunately, with a record of 24 and 33, you can forget about the postseason. And they're also without Victor Wembanyama, who suffered a deep vein issue in his right shoulder. So there you go with double trouble. Oof. Yeah. Wembanyama is not the star that we thought he was going to be either, folks. Yeah, he's not the star we think he's going to be. I'm sorry to say. All right. So moving on to baseball. What now? Okay. Okay, I got some, okay. Aaron Rodgers' goal of playing with the Giants might still be possible. Maybe. According to reports, the Giants are interested in pursuing the future Hall of Famer since he will be back with the Jets this season. Oh, what a shock. Ending a 2 year run of unepical proportions, Rodgers and new coach Aaron Glenn met to discuss his future. The Giants are now trying to end a 2 year slump where the offensive line injuries have led to the Giants' 9-25 record in the past two seasons. Not good. Rodgers joined the Jets with much fanfare in 2023 with the hopes of making the postseason, but that went out the window after he suffered the Achilles injury in the opening game of that year. Last year, he rebounded, playing all 17 games, but the Jets were only 5-12. Not good. He completed 63% of his passes for 3,097 yards with 20 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. Giants quarterbacks combined for 15 touchdowns and 13 interceptions last year when former number one draft pick, first round pick, rather, Daniel Jones was benched and then released in November. The Athletic also reported that the Giants are interested in signing Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford on a restructured deal, but forget it. He's staying with the Rams for another 3 years. Forget it. The Giants also hold the number 3 pick in the draft. Rodgers is a 4-time MVP and 10-time Pro Bowler with and has thrown for 69,522 yards, 503 touchdown passes in 20 seasons with the Packers and the Jets. So while it's clear to say that he's not coming back to the Jets, it could be possible that he could be with the Giants. Mike, you got to be happy about that. It's a possibility. Yeah, I don't know though. I think he might want to be closer to home, so I'm not so sure. It would be a nice idea. Well, West Coast, the West Coast. I think you might be likely like to go with the 49ers since that's his nearest hometown. Yeah, that's what I was thinking all along. I could be wrong, of course, but you know, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Okay. Any Ravens fans in the house? Oh, what? Uh, yes, he is. Okay, running low on time. Okay, I gotta move on. Sure. Okay, so back to more news here. Where'd it go? Okay, Shoni Otani is off to a 25 routing start as he hit his first home in his first spring training game and hit a home run. And he missed part of spring training to his shoulder injury. Serving as a DH, he began at the bottom of the first inning. Otani crushed a 3-2 pitch from Angels lefty UC Koriski to the opposite field for a solo home run. That was only him today, though, as he went 1 for 3 because he also popped up and then struck out. Days after the Dodgers won the World Series, Otani underwent arthroscopic surgery to repair a torn labrum in his left shoulder. Blech. Last season, despite not pitching, he had 54 home runs and 130 RBIs and stole 59 bases to become the first player ever in the major leagues to have at least 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases in the same season, and was third MVP, his first in the NL. After undergoing Tommy John surgery, Otani did not pitch last season, obviously, but hopes to be back on the mound this season and could be back on the mound. I think even within like the second or third week of April. He'll be back early, I think. Now he's completely healed. So this only added to the Dodgers' dominance next season, and I think it's going to be another run to the title here. Maybe. Okay, I got some news on the 40 yard. I got some news here on the 40-yard dash from the combine here. If anybody wants to know, Maxwell Harrison of Kentucky leading with a 4.28. Darren Porter of Iowa State is second at 4.3 and even 4.3. Cab Ragby of Tulane, uh, 4.33. Jacob Parrish of Kansas State, 4.35. Zay Frazier of Texas San Antonio, a 4.36. Marquise Siegel, 4.37. Nick Amori Ward from South Carolina at 4.38. Jihad Barron of Texas, 4.39. Also 4.39 is Robert Longbeam of Rutgers. Thank you very much. And Justin Wally of Minnesota at 10 at 4.44. 4.40, excuse me. Not bad timing, guys. I think well, Harrison, topped the list. And judging from this picture here, I think he's did pretty well. So the scouts are going to be looking at these guys. I don't know what they're going to do about Longbeam because Rutgers as well. Well, Rutgers is Rutgers. What can I say about that? But I kind of like the top five here, to be honest. Yeah. And I have some news here about the leaders of the scouting report here. The scouting combine continued yesterday in Indianapolis, offering defensive backs and tight ends the chance to make or break their draft position. Projected first round wide receiver slash cornerbacker Travis Hunter, CB Will Johnson, and tight end Tyler Warren were among the players who opt out participating in drills on Friday, but there is no shortage of stand-up performers who take advantage of the spotlight. Kentucky cornerback Maxwell Harrison turned in the top 40-yard dash with a time of 4.28 seconds. Texas tight end Gunnar Helm recorded a shaky 4.84 in the second run. Oh, yeah. Ugh. But let me ask you something, guys. If you're in the top 5 of the combine, would you think you need to work out? I mean, and with the prices, so or do you think that only should be for the ones who need to improve their draft stock? Because if you're a shoe in, I don't think you need to prove it to the scouts who are looking at that. But if you're below that, I think that's more important because if you're trying to improve your draft stock, you're trying to impress the scouts. But what about the players in the top 5 category? Should they work out and should they try to impress them even more, or are they just fine with it? Yeah, it is not always a smart choice, but just something I thought that would be interesting. Yeah, yes, right, yeah. Okay, that's fine because we have some here. Hmm. I don't know if this is a good time or not. 4.63 in the 40-yard, not that good. Terrence Ferguson, the tight end for Oregon, uh, a tight end position, and highlighting his explosiveness with a vertical jump of 39 inches, another high at the position. Uh, the tight end advanced with a 10-foot, 2-inch broad jump. And that timing could be a little bit better though. 4.63, and that was his second attempt. All right, losers. Gunnar Helm of Texas didn't do himself any favors for the combine. His 30-inch vertical ranked the worst among his position at 4.84 at the 40-yard dash. That was his second attempt. And third worst among tight ends. Oh boy. This is gonna be fun. Yuck. Malachi Starks, the safety from Georgia. Um, in the mock draft, he was selected 14th overall. Sharks didn't necessarily have a bad showing at the combine. He excelled during on-field drills and showcased his versatility, recording the fastest top speed among safeties in 5 different drills. But Starks was outperformed by his main competitor at the safety position. Starks was outjumped and outrun by South Carolina's Emma Worrell, the second safety projecting off the boards. Stark's 33-inch vertical jump tied for third worst in his position, compared to Emory 43 inches and Stark's 4.5 record 40-yard dash was noticeably slower. Mm. So that's got to work on that. Those are the winners and losers of the combine, and the draft is next month. Okay, got to work on that, guys. If you want to make it, unless you're going to be in up the creek without a paddle. Yeah, of course. All right. I said I was going to discuss some of the UFL, so I'll give it a whirl here. Right. So the season begins March 28th. I'll run down the teams here. The St. Louis Battlehawks against the Houston Roughnecks. The San Antonio Brahms against the Arlington Renegades. The Michigan Panthers against the Memphis Showboats. Sorry. And the Birmingham Stallions against the DC Defenders. So, does anybody have any personal favorites that they like in this season 2 of this form? Right. Yeah. Anyone else in the crowd? They want to go after minor league cities. Yeah. Yeah. I kind of think Birmingham. Okay. I'm going to go Michigan. Sorry, Steve. So, anyway, the league will begin their next season on March 28th, 2 days after my birthday. Oh, great. Uh, and Fox will have Friday night UFL. Oh, great. This will be fun. Well, they got to do something to replace college basketball, of course. A 10-week regular season, and it'll begin with the the Battlehawks against the Roughnecks. I almost said Blackhawks. Sorry. The league's second season under this form will conclude on Saturday, June 14th, when ABC presents the UFL championship game. It'll be on ABC, not Fox. That was a typo that they made earlier. Yeah. So Fox and 43 game media partners. Fox, ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, and Fox Sports 1 will have 43 games. ESPN will have 22 games the regular season and postseason. Fox will have 21 regular season and postseason games. Fox 20 and 1 with FS1. The UFL will have 10 weeks of regular season. That includes matches on Friday nights. And like I said, they'll have 8 teams competing. And 74% of all UFL games will be on either ABC or Fox this season. How interesting when the NFL might be considering moving to streaming in 2029. That means you won't be able to see any NFL games on regular TV set at all. Go figure that out. Ridiculous. Yeah, streaming service. Yeah, streaming service. Yeah. First TNT leaves the NBA, now this. Oh, when will it ever end, folks? When will it ever end? On second thought, yeah. Well, thank you, Modern Technology, for ruining us all. Need I say more, fellas? Yeah, right. Rams left tackle Arlick Jackson signed a 3-year, $57 million deal, according to multiple media outlets yesterday. The deal includes a 35 to 37 million guarantee and prevents Jackson from becoming a free agent. Jackson was an undrafted free agent when he signed with the Rams in 2021. He made his first career starts at right guard, not the right guard you're thinking, folks, but the actual right guard in 2022 before switching to left guard, where he made 29 starts in the last 2 seasons. He played one season. He played last season on a 1-year deal after signing his restricted free agent deal tender in the previous offseason. He will continue to play the blind side of Matthew Stafford on Friday as he signed after going to stay with the Rams on a restructured contract after rumors of the Giants and Raiders were seeking interest in him. And that has now gone by the wayside. Okay, Yankees right-hander ace pitcher Luis Gil is experiencing soreness in his shoulder after a bullpen session yesterday. The outing was very short-lived and could not loosen up. Oh boy, not good. And he just felt he was not ready, as he felt the tightness, said Aaron Boone. So, and when you're not ready, well, you're not ready. What can I say? Gill worked 151 innings last season in 29 starts. He went 15-7 with a 3.50 ERA, and he limited hitters to a 1.89 batting average. He did strike out 177 batters, but he also walked the most batters with 77. Okay, good and the bad. Gill underwent Tommy John surgery in 2022 and only adds the anxiety of his shoulder issues. Anytime a pitcher pulls himself out of a bullpen session after a few pitches, you know there's a problem. Well, no kidding. Boone also said that JT Brubaker, also right-handed, was diagnosed with 3 fractured ribs stemming from being hit from a comebacker off the bat of Cameron Minster of the Rays back last week. Brubaker underwent Tommy John surgery in 2023 and last pitched for the Pirates the season before. Well, get those injuries over. And as I said, Matthew Stafford will remain with the Rams. The news was confirmed yesterday. We said there was speculation between the Giants and Raiders after he was seeking permission to speak to other teams, but now we can take the guesswork out of it. So, in other words, I guess he's saying there's no place like home. There's no place like home. Oh boy. Okay. Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis. Now, despite rumors you've heard about this, Travis Kelce is going to return to the playing field in 2025. Kelce made intentions known to a text on the Pat McAfee show on Thursday. He said, "I'm coming back for sure," Kelce told McCaffrey on Thursday. He wrote, I'm going to try to get in my best shape and get back to the mountaintop. I had a real bad taste in my mouth the last game I played in. You certainly did." The text is in line with what general manager Brett Veach said on Tuesday. Earlier this month, Kelce said he was weighing the possibility of retiring after the loss to the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Kelce had a miserable outing of 4 catches for 39 yards. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I know everyone wants to know if I'm playing this next season, and now I'm kicking everything around down the road. I'm not making a crazy decision," said Kelce on his New Heights podcast. The 4-time All-Pro and 10-time Pro Bowler in his 12 seasons, Kelce would carry a cap hit of $19.8 million for the upcoming season. Kelce only made 97 receptions for 823 yards, his lowest total since his rookie year in 2014. He had posted 7 consecutive seasons of 1,000 yards or more from 2016 to 2022. Okay, you had an off year. All right, I get it. We all get that, especially been playing as long as he has. And I think based on what happened in the Super Bowl, he said, you know what? I don't think I'm going to go out a loser. So I'm going to give it one more year to see if I can, make something out of it because I hate to end on such a bad note. So that's probably what I was wondering. If the Chiefs would have won and given the 3-peat, I think he would retire, no questions asked. But I think he wants to give it, one more shot at glory and see if he can make the Chiefs get back to the Super Bowl and win. Now, for those of you who think I'm nuts, well, I already know that. But still, I think he has a good point there. And I do think he is going to come back. No thoughts? Okay. All right. Now, for my rant of the week, I'm sorry I have to do it, but I have to do a rant here. As you know, that every year the NFL is always looking to change the rules, which is ridiculous. Every year they try to do that. So this year, the topic of overtime changing the rules has come up yet again. What a surprise! So on Wednesday, Vice President of Football Operations Troy Vincent says it's time for the league to take a look at overtime rules and make them the same in the regular season as in the playoffs, said by the Associated Press. Well, I mean, that's a very respected newspaper, so I can't argue with them. However, now the league competition committee also believes there needs to be a change with this. And where have I heard this before? Currently, regular season overtime rules consist of a 10-minute overtime period in which each team gets the ball unless the offense scores a touchdown or safety in the first possession. In postseason, each team gets full 15-minute periods. Each team getting the possession. If the game is tied after that, then next becomes sudden death after that. Since 2011, 56.8% of teams receiving the ball first have won the game. And of course, the other team is griping about, oh, we didn't get a chance to touch the ball, whatnot. Boo hoo hoo. Yeah, let's look at it this way. You should have maybe thought of this when you first got into overtime 50 years ago. Why are you complaining about it now? I mean, I like to be the way it was when it was just sudden death. Okay, sudden death. First to get the ball, first to score wins. None of this other stuff. Okay, especially in the regular season. We don't need to make it more complicated than it already is. And one comment said, "Leave the overtime rules alone." I think you should. I think it should just go back to the way it used to be. 15 minutes on the clock, sudden death, first to score wins. If the game ends in a tie after that, it's a tie. Okay? Regular season doesn't matter. And the same thing in the postseason, minus the tie. 15 minutes, first to score wins. You're making it too complicated to follow in overtime during football. Okay, leave the rules alone. I like the better when they had just simple. Any thoughts? You think they're right? Oh, thank you. I'm glad somebody agrees with me for a change. Yes. All right, Jimmy. Yeah, I mean, it keeps changing every year. And they want, change the kickoff rule too. I think they want to make it starting at the 30-yard line now instead of the 25, or maybe 5 yards. Yeah, that's the sport. Yeah, I get the reason why they do it. I mean, for safety, I understand that. But if you keep moving it 5 yards every year, I mean, it's not going to be much for a competitive game. I don't think. Yeah, but I say leave the rules alone. There was nothing wrong with it from the beginning, but they had to be crying and complaining like, "Oh, we didn't get the ball, whatnot. Oh, we lost." Yeah, look, it's not my fault you didn't win the coin flip, but that does not always mean you're going to win if you immediately get the ball first. It does not mean that. Okay, I think they lose all out of proportion because there have been games where a team does get the ball first in overtime, but they don't score, and the other team does get a chance, and they do it from there. Okay, leave it like that. If you score first, you win. Game over. But you don't have to be complaining about to the officials. Oh, we didn't get our chance. Yeah, so we got to change the rules again just so you don't have to be a crybaby about it. Or to put it in my term generations, a wuss. And thank you, Gerald Green, for that comment yesterday. Oh, I think I got two replies here. Oh, there's a second here. I like reading the replies here. Uh, okay, you didn't leave. That was the only it was, but there's no guarantee that the rule will change. So we'll just have to wait for that to happen as they are doing it in the general owners meeting this week. So we'll wait and see. But leave it alone, really. Come on. All right. So second baseman Jose Altuve is made his spring training debut yesterday in left field, set by manager Joe Espada on Wednesday. Following the trade of Kyle Tucker, the Astros found an opening in the outfield, and Altuve said he will play anywhere he is needed. Altuve is playing 1,766 career games at second, minus two at shortstop, never maintained the outfield in his 14-year career. Uh, we all know what Altuve's famous moment was, don't we, folks? Jimmy, you know. Does 2017 ring a bell? Does 2017 ring a bell, folks? After the Yankees tied up at the top of the ninth, Altuve hits the home run and won the American League pennant. Ugh. And after that happened, I went and go throw up for 2 hours. Okay. Nine-time All-Star and former MVP won a Gold Glove at second base in 2015. The seven-time Silver Slugger winner has not dropped on the offensive side, though. His defensive side, that's another story. In the last three seasons, he has registered a minus 15 in defensive runs saved, and two seasons was a minus 13. So on defense, he's a little bit weak. Esposito reports on Tuesday that Altuve is doing well in his transition from left field. Altuve is a three-time AL batting champion, has a batting average of 300, 311, and 295 in that span. How unfortunate for us. Ugh. Yeah, well, still. Well, let's put it this way: he became another Yankee killer. Yeah, well, for me anyway. The Packers are in talks with involving linebacker Jari Alexander, according to the NFL Network. The report comes one day after general manager Brian Gustock lukewarm response about the team's plans for Alexander this year. We are still looking through that, and we will work through that as we go along. As to what that's going to be, well, only time will tell. Alexander still has 2 years left on his current deal, but has been limited to 7 games in the last two seasons, as he underwent knee surgery last season. So we'll have to wait and see about that. Tyreek Hill of the Dolphins recently underwent wrist surgery, but is expected to be ready for a training camp in July, set by head coach Mike McDaniel. That was Tuesday at the Combine. McDaniel also said they were able to start running by next week and ready to start catching by camp. McDaniel noted that Hill played through the season despite being injured in practice in August, but his wrist at the time was not broken. His agent Drew Rojas confirmed the broken wrist injury on January 9th. So let's go back to training camp. Tyreek is scrimmaging with the Commanders and breaks his wrist, Rojas said on the Pat McAfee show. We have top wrist doctors saying to Hill, you must get this operated on, or you will miss the season. Then Tyreek turns to me and says, I'm not missing the season. I'll be here for the team, whether you like it or not. I just add that part, though. He did play all 17 games, but only totaled 959 yards for 81 passes, his lowest since 2016 when he was a rookie. The drop came after back-to-back seasons of 1,700 yards to begin his Dolphins tenure, and quarterback Tua Tagovailoa was limited to 11 games with hip injuries and, yes, a concussion. Oh boy. For his career, though, Hill has 798 receptions for 11,098 yards. Boston scored a goal, okay, and 82 touchdowns as well, as 114 attempts for 819 yards and 7 touchdowns with 123 starts in 141 games. He also had 96 catches for 1,212 yards and 6 touchdowns, and 14 carries for 96 yards and a touchdown in 15 playoff games. Not bad. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Penn State defensive end Abdul Carter wore an Eagles jersey at the Super Bowl for one final experience as an Eagles fan with his dad, knowing his next stop on the way would be the NFL draft. His unlikely dream to wear the uniform to life. Carter is not working with any teams this week due to a shoulder injury. He is estimating that he is 90% healed, though. But the conversation is as one of the top prospects in this year's class after posting 12.5 sacks and 23.5 tackles for loss this season. Carter says he gets his toughness from his Philadelphia roots, where he grew up dreaming of becoming the number one draft pick. I feel it's realistic, said Carter, at the scouting combine. I feel like I'm the best in the country, and the best player should be selected first overall. I agree with that. If you are the top overall, then you should be selected first overall. But the draft doesn't always look at it that way, which isn't right. So Carter began interviews on Tuesday and met with the Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel about his all about business and the brass of the Titans. Got to remember the Titans. And the Titans do have the first pick in the draft. Yeah. But he's right though, because I think the first overall, the best should be gone first. And former Boise State running back and Heisman Trophy runner-up Austin Gentry, who was expected to be the first running back selected in the draft, will forget about drills and workouts at the combine this week, as reported by the NFL Network. Gentry will go through medicals and interviews only, he told his agent to the NFL Network. Gentry is planning to work out on Boise State's Pro Day, which happened on Thursday. Gentry rushed for 2,601 yards and 29 touchdowns. The yardage is second only to Barry Sanders. Not for nothing, I think Gentry kind of deserved the Heisman Trophy for my sake. I thought it was the best out there. Jeanty led Boise State to a 12-2 record and appearance in the quarterfinals in the playoffs before losing to Penn State in the Fiesta Bowl. Jeanty rushed for 1,000 yards every game this season and is known for his dazzling long runs and breaking tackles. He holds a school record of 4,796 yards and 50 touchdowns. Jeanty lost out to Colorado receiver cornerback Travis Hunter for the Heisman. I still think that Jeanty should have got it over Hunter. Does anybody agree with me? Thankfully, somebody does. Yeah, because I really, I watched Colorado State um, watch this year, and I think he did very well. I think he should have won. I think he got gypped, even though and it was close, the voting. So I still think that he should have won it, though. I mean, I know I'm not part of the committee, but I think overall he deserved it. Yeah, well, that's the way I see it. Okay, trying to get his report on a bus crash that involved the teams from Indiana, from a team from Indianapolis. That was just horrible. Oof. And Eric Gordon will be out 3 months for the Sixers with a wrist injury. The Sixers made the announcement back on Thursday. The timeline means he'll miss the rest of the season and the playoffs, but you can forget it. They won't make the playoffs. So enough on that. Ugh. And the Sabres, they're looking to make some moves here, but it's not gonna matter much to them either because they have the worst record in the conference. Yeah. When you're good, but when you're not. Yeah. And Nets center Nick Claxton also served a one-game suspension this week for receiving a sixth flagrant foul this season. Claxton was averaging 10.1 points per game and 7.5 rebounds, served the suspension as the Nets lost to the Thunder. He was given a flagrant foul one for a push in the back in the fourth quarter as the Nets lost to the last place Wizards. Can you believe that? Losing to the Wizards. Is that sad or what? Uh, no answer. Steven, you got to be happy, but, yeah. I mean, if you lose to a team like that, you do not deserve to be making playoff contention. All right, I got a little bit of personal note here. Um, those of you who live in the New York area, like I do, you guys have heard of a sportscaster named Al Troutwig, haven't you? Al Trout, yeah, Al Troutwig. He was a sportscaster mostly for the New York area, but also did for USA Network, like with the Olympics and boxing and whatnot. Um, it was announced this past week on Monday that Al Troutwig passed away from cancer at the age of 68. Troutwig was most known for his coverage in the New York sports area. He did sports coverage for other cable networks as well. He covered Rangers and Yankee and Devils post game and pre-game shows for the Yankees and Rangers. He also did the Summer Olympics for NBC, the Tour de Force, the Tour de France, the Indy 500, and the Little League World Series. And proud to say he was one of my influences for what I'm doing now. I mean, he was a legend here in New York and New Jersey too. And even covering, with the Rangers Stanley Cup when they won that. Oh boy. I mean that's it right. That I think that thing sums it up right there. And he will be missed. Yeah. He was one of the he's like what can I say? He was, one of my great influences, along with Marv Albert, of course. I can't believe he was only 68 years old. I thought he was older than that. Oh, here's the story here. All right, this could have been a tragic story, but at least it has a bit of a happy ending, sort of. A bus carrying the IU Indianapolis men's basketball team Their bus caught fire on Interstate 275 Sunday evening as the Jaguars were returning home from a game against Northern Kentucky. A video posted on social media shows a towering of smoke coming from the bus and fire crews shutting down traffic as they attempt to put out the fire. Photos shared by News Channel 8 showed the chartered shell of the charter bus with burned seats with no windows. Oh boy. Or a roof remaining. All members of the traveling party were evacuated the bus without any injury, according to the athletic department that released Sunday evening. IU athletic director Luke Bosso described the incident to Yahoo Sports as scary and chaotic. Well, yeah, of course, and that the players and staff lost items such as laptops, cell phones, and athletic gear as a result of the fire. The fire was caused by a mechanical failure, said IU Indy said the IU Indy in a statement when asked if they could provide any further details. Bosso said, "This is all we have right now. The good news is nobody was seriously hurt. Thank goodness." That's gotta be scary, with a bus coming from that, and you're on your way back from a road trip, and then this happens. Yeah, thankfully you're alive. Man, how did that happen? Well, I know what caused it, but still, I mean, that's ugh, it's just you know, I mean, what can you say? I mean, thankfully nobody was hurt. So at least it's, has a happy ending. And speaking of one more baseball note, well, all things do come to an end, and for ESPN, it is coming to an end. As of this season, this will be the last season ESPN will televise Major League Baseball games. They were supposed to go until 2028, but they have opted out of it, and they will no longer carry it. It doesn't surprise me though, because over the past few years, they have really shrunk down their coverage. I mean, they used to do like about um, games on Monday, Wednesday, I think some Friday night games and Sunday games as well. They had like about 100 games a year. Now they just do the Sunday night games, and then that's gone by the wayside. So now they're going to look for a new home. I mean, they may not go to Amazon, might do a game like that. They might go to Peacock, maybe. I think maybe CBS might be a good fit. They haven't televised baseball night since 1993, so I think that might be a good fit. And again, they weren't that good covering baseball anyway. Yeah. So I hate to say it and sound like a cliche, but as for ESPN, you're out. Oh boy. Did you get the last one, guys? You're out. Okay, and one more note here. I have my second idiot of the week here. Denver Broncos outside linebacker coach Michael Wilhotty was arrested on charges of assaulting a police officer last weekend, according to jail records. Uh, Wilhotty was booked into the Denver jail last Sunday on a no-hold bond. He was scheduled for a hearing earlier this week on a charge of second-degree assault of a peace officer. The Broncos issued a statement saying that they are aware of the situation and are gathering more information. The alleged incident reportedly occurred after Will Holy dropped someone off at the Denver International Airport, according to reports. Yeah, right. He joined the Broncos staff in 2023, working under head coach Sean Payton as a defensive and special teams assistant in the 2019 and 20 seasons. He also was linebacker coach for the Chargers in the 2021-22 seasons. He is also a former NFL player for the Niners and Seahawks. He had 298 tackles and 4 interceptions in 79 games and 45 starts. So that makes you idiot of the week number 2. And one more note, speaking of more changes in the NFL, the league's commission chairman Rich McKay said on Sunday the league is discussing more changes that could lead to more returns this season and beyond. McKay, who is CEO of the Falcons, said that one consideration is to give team possessions of the ball at a 35-yard line on touchbacks. What are you nuts? The league is also considering moving the kickoff 5 yards further back at the beginning of kickoffs. Is this crazy or what? The rule change to kickoffs led to a rise of 50% in kickoff returns last season, as reported by Pro Football Talk, and delivered a lower rate of injury. Okay, I understand that because that's what you want to do. You want to lower the rate of injury in because, of course, football is a tough sport. So, yeah, I understand that. Remember, though, that 2/3 of all teams must approve the proposed rule in order to make it official. So, while it's in discussion, it's not official. 24 of 32 teams must approve it before it becomes law. Otherwise, you're just a bill and only a bill. Oh boy. Guess what, Bill? Now you're a law. Oh yes. I'm showing my age again, guys. I'm showing my age. I know my stupid humor. Okay, this yes. Some of you get, some of you don't. All right. I think I got time for some quick notes in history here. I'll just do some recent notes since we only got about 4.5 minutes to go. Oh, 1969, Mickey Mantle announced retirement due to persistent knee injuries and finished his 18-year career with 536 home runs. Oh, yeah. The Mick himself. Uh, Minnesota coach Charlie Burns becomes the first player coach in NHL history when he plays in the North Stars 8-0 win over Toronto and remains in his role for the final month of the season. How about that? Player and coach. We now call them the Dallas Stars. Paul Stastny becomes the second player in NHL history to record 100 points in each of his first 6 seasons with an assist in 8-4 Nordiques loss to the visiting Buffalo Sabres. And I happen to know someone he used to work with. Okay, anything else of note here? Oh, 1993, new expansion team, the Mighty Ducks, is born. Well, now just called the Ducks. Pavel Bure scores twice to become the first player in Vancouver's history to score 50 goals in an NHL season as they beat the Buffalo Sabres. Lenny Wilkens becomes the first coach in history to reach 1,000 career victories when the Hawks beat the Cavaliers 74 to 68 in 1996. I remember that. Hector Madre Camacho knocked stop Sugar Ray Leonard in the fifth round at Lansing, New Jersey to retain his IBC middleweight title. It's the only time Leonard is KO'd and sent him into permanent retirement in 1997. Oh, yeah, I remember that. 2016, MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred sent a strong message of the issue of domestic violence. He issues a 30-game suspension to New York Yankees closer Andrea Arnoldus Chapman. And believe me, he is no Mariano Rivera. All right, guys, just about out of time. Rasal's coming up. I want to make way for him. I mean, I gotta join my buddy. I'll join him after dinner, of course. Um, but overall, I think we had a good show here. So next week we'll run down the NHL trade deadline. So get yourself ready for that. We'll look at college basketball as it comes down to the last week of the regular season before we head to the conference tournaments, and we'll continue with MLB preseason. Any more news from the combine from the NFL? So we'll take care of that and everything else in the sports world. So on that note, I wish you a very happy and safe week. Be careful out there. Spring is almost here, guys, so get ready. And on that note, have a good week. Bye for now.